useful. The machine was broken. It would have been a shame to tamper with the elegant bridge. The iron rim of the water wheel would have torn the skin from my fingers if I touched it. It seemed to be working just fine. It was a pile of damp leaves.
Hello? Anyone home?
The stones were too heavy to turn by hand. It was heavy. I guess that was intentional. The leverage from the cross allowed me to turn one of the stones, but the other one remained stationary. It was a length of rope made of twisted and knotted vines. I placed the newspaper clipping over the damp leaves. As I held the fetish to the iron rim of the wheel, a shower of sparks cascaded onto the leaves.
Quick, man! Put out that fire! I've got a sick woman up here!
Sorry, Father, but I needed to attract your attention.
Who are you? And what do you want?
My name is Sтоббарт, George Sтоббарт.
I'm Father Hubert. I don't suppose you speak French.
Huh? Why do you want to know that?
I found a young woman with a fever by the river this morning. The poor girl is close to death. And there's nothing I can do for her but pray. I don't understand her, but I think she's speaking French.
Hang on. That must be Nico. What are you doing out here in the jungle?
God's work. Not quite the destination I had in mind when I set out, but I don't know what they say. Mysterious ways and so on.
You didn't plan to end up here?
No. I was on my way to the miners' camp in the north. I was stuck here when my boat capsized on the river.
That's exactly what happened to me. How long have you been here?
11 years.
That's my girlfriend you've got in your treehouse. What's the matter with her?
She's been bitten by a venomous river snake.
But can't you do something for her? There's a cure, isn't there?
I ran on penicillin and morphine years ago, but the local people speak of a root which they believe will counteract the poison.
Where can I find this root?
I don't know, but maybe the shaman at the village can tell us.
Will you show me the way to the village?
Me? Oh, but I can't.
Can't? Nico's life depends on it.
You're right. Of course I should, despite my own guilt and shame. But I can't go as a representative of God with a creased collar.
A creased collar? You mean you put your personal attire higher than the life of a sick woman?
I will not go to that village looking anything but my best.
Give me your collar. I'm sure I can find a way to press it.
In the meantime, I must contemplate my sermon.
There was obviously more than a creased collar bothering the priest.
Where do you think you're going?
I've got to see Nico.
Please, my son, I know it's hard for you, but she really mustn't be disturbed. The girl needs rest.
It was Father Hubert's collar. He wanted me to press it for him. The vine provided a drive belt to connect the two stones. So there I was, hundreds of miles from civilization, doing the housework for a priest. It's a strange world. The press worked surprisingly well on the collar. Here's your collar, Father.
Thank you, George. You'd probably think it a little odd of me to make such a fuss.
Oh, no. If I've been living in the jungle for 11 years, I'd be completely screwy, too.
Screwy? Yes, perhaps I am. Ever since my last visit to that village.
Do you want to tell me what happened at the village?
I forgot my vows. I let myself be overwhelmed by the beauty of this unspoiled paradise, and in a moment of weakness, animal passion reared its rampant head.
You know, you should be writing romantic novels. Did you experience some kind of a physical liaison at the village?
Yes, I'm ashamed to admit it, but I found myself doing the monkey dance.
I've never heard it called that before. And I didn't want to pry any deeper into Hubert's murky past. Now you've got your collar back, will you take me to the village?
I've still not finished my sermon.
Look, Father, I still don't know why you're so reluctant to visit that village, and it's none of my business. Whatever the reason, it can't be more important than saving Nico's life.
You're right. I must be crazy. We must make haste if we're to reach the village before nightfall.
By the time we reached the village, it was sunset.
Hello, boys. Glad to see you're still wearing the underpants. What?
They're the best Christmas present we ever had, Father. Mine are too tight.
Well, we all have our cross to bear. This is George. He has a request to make. I'm afraid I can't stay. Good luck, George.
That's a relief. I never feel comfortable with him about.
Me neither. These damn pants keep riding right up my butt.
So, what do you want?
My girlfriend has been bitten by a snake.
So, everyone in my family has been bitten by snakes.
I was bitten by a dormouse once.
She's real sick. I hoped your wise man might have medicine.
Wise man? You must have the wrong village.
Father Hubert said there was a wise man in the village who could help me.
Ooh, he must mean the old man, the shaman.
Are you going to stand by and let my girlfriend die?
Of course not. What do you think we are, savages?
We'll start the preparations for a cremation feast.
I'd like to see the shaman, please.
You can't just go walking in there and demand to speak to the shaman.
Why not?
You have to observe the protocol. The shaman demands tribute.
Tribute? You mean like a gift?
That's right.
The eternal question. What do you give a man who has everything? This stone is what brought me here.
That's a spirit stone. I wouldn't touch it if I was you.
You're right. It could be cursed. Would your wise man have any use for lipstick?
Not in that color.
Haven't you anything in black?
Of course I don't. Look, I know it's not much, but I want your shaman to have this.
Do you expect him to eat that?
He's an old man, you know. He might choke.
This cone could have 1,000 uses.
Yeah? Like what?
A protective helmet?
I don't think so.
Here, he'll like these biscuits.
If you say so. He liked the biscuits, especially the black ones. He wants to know if you've any more.
I put my lucky piece of coal in the empty box. Here, I found some more of those biscuits for the shaman.
I'll give them to him. The shaman didn't want the black rock.
I put the Mayan stone in the empty box. Here, I found some more of those biscuits for the shaman.
I'll give them to him. The shaman wants to talk to you.
I hoped he would. Well, it's been nice to talk to you guys. I couldn't think of any reason to steal the villagers' rock collection. That woman certainly wasn't the reason I'd come to the village. That man wasn't the one I'd come looking for. Hi, my name's Джоржа Стоббарта.
Please, sit down. Welcome, George.
Thanks.
It has long been foretold that a white man would bring the coyote stone to this village.
My girlfriend's been bitten by a snake.
And you want me to heal her?
That's the idea. Can you do it?
I'm not sure. My gums aren't what they used to be.
Listen, my girlfriend's in a coma. Please, old man, give me the root.
What root?
Why is Father Hubert so reluctant to visit the village?
I don't know. He used to come here a lot, but then he just stopped. You'd think he'd want to spend some time with his kids.
Did you say Father Hubert has kids?
3 girls and 5 boys by my reckoning. All conceived in the same week at the Feast of the Monkey Dance.
I don't suppose this would be any use to you.
It sure would. This wax on a stick will change our lives.
What do you want it for?
To decorate our bodies for the monkey dance.
Father Hubert told me of a root which could cure the bite of the river snake.
There's nothing sacred with these people. That was our secret. known only to members of my tribe.
If that route is my chance of saving Nico's life, then I want it. Fast.
There is time yet, George Sтоббарт. Time to learn why you were called here.
Fine. If I listen to your story, then will you give me the route?
The eel travels far, but still returns to the place of his spawning.
And look, I'm running a tight schedule, so can you skip the riddles?
Many years ago, when the world was young, the great god and king Quetzalcoatl was defeated by trickery and deceit. His enemy Tezcatlipoca took his place as leader and demanded terrible human sacrifices. A group of loyal priests found a way to trap Tezcatlipoca. But his powers were so great, they knew he would not remain trapped forever. His time of incarceration would end with the eclipse, which marked the close of the Fifth Age. So the priests fashioned 3 obsidian stones which contained the power to seal the mirror for all time. But before the stones could be put in place, they were seized by the invading Spanish.
But how did they trap Tez, the evil god?
They built a pyramid which they told Tezcatlipoca was dedicated to him. At its center, they fashioned a huge mirror of perfectly smooth obsidian. Luring him into the pyramid with praise and flattery, they used sorcery to ensnare him in the mirror.
There's an eclipse of the sun due very soon, isn't there?
Correct. The eclipse which marks the ending of the Fifth Age will come before the next full moon.
Less than 2 weeks. I didn't really believe that Tezcatlipoca would return, but I figured Karzak's plans were in some way connected. What happened to the stones?
They were taken by the Spanish to the coastal town that is now called Cuaramonte City. Only 1 stone reached Spain. The other 2 fell into the hands of buccaneers. The Jaguar stone was captured by an English captain, El Draco. The Eagle stone was taken by a pirate called Ketch. The 3rd stone, the Coyote stone, reached Spain safely. That is the stone in your possession.
Tell me more about the Jaguar stone.
Many centuries ago, the port of Cuaramonte was entered by a ship flying Spanish colors. The captain, the man known as El Draco, sent soldiers ashore. Only when the soldiers arrested the mayor did the people realize that they were English privateers. The mayor was held hostage while the soldiers looted and plundered the city. Amongst the treasures they stole was the Jaguar stone.
Where is the Jaguar stone now?
I suppose El Draco took it back to his homeland, across the Great Sea.
To England. Tell me more about the Eagle stone.
The stone was loaded onto a galleon with many valuable artifacts plundered by the Spanish. But shortly after leaving harbor, a terrible squall blew up and damaged the ship. The ship was intercepted by a bloodthirsty pirate, Captain Ketch. Ketch made short work of overpowering the crew, stealing the treasure, and sinking the Spanish ship.
Where's the Eagle stone now?
Nobody knows for sure. Ketch retired from piracy and bought an island in the Caribbean.
What do I do when I find the stones?
Bring them here to me and I shall prepare you. The stones must be taken to the heart of the pyramid. Only there can they be used to seal the gate by which Tezcatlipoca will return to this world.
Suppose I was to believe there was anything in your story, other than the rambling delusions of a seriously wacky old man. Suppose I was to swallow it, hook, line, and kitchen sink. What then?
Then you would see that the fate of the human race rests upon your shoulders.
Do I get anything to help me combat Tezcatlipoca?
Like what?
Well, a magical weapon?
Get real, George.
Can you show me the way to the pyramid of Tezcatlipoca?
Not until you possess all 3 stones.
Now do I get the route?
Here, take it. Make Make haste if you wish to save the girl's life. The hummingbird sings to me of death to come.
Now you're talking in riddles again. Listen, is it okay if I crash here? I've got no chance of finding my way through the jungle in the dark.
You're welcome, but you probably won't get much sleep. Tonight's the night of the monkey dance.
I left the village at dawn and stumbled back through the jungle in a post-party daze. It was just like sneaking back to my parents' house when I was younger. Except Oakland didn't have monkeys or parrots. The shaman thinks you should go visit your kids.
So, he told you?
Look, Hubert, having an extended family is nothing to be ashamed of. If I was you, I'd be ashamed of not being there for them.
It's that damned monkey dance that led me astray.
Yeah. A sight like that must be difficult to forget. I've got the route, Hubert.
So what are you waiting for? Give it to the gal.
Right. Nico, I've brought you this root.
Oh.
No way was she going to be able to chew the root. I needed to give her the antidote in a more digestible form. I didn't have any use for Hubert's candles. I thought it best not to defile the altar while Hubert was looking after Nico. There was nothing else I wanted to ask him. I couldn't steal from a priest. It was the root which would cure Nico's snake bite. The cone was ideal as a makeshift container. As the liquid was squeezed from the root, it collected in the cone. Look, Hubert, the antidote.
What are you waiting for? Give it to the girl, quickly.
Here, drink this.
Oh, George, it's horrible.
Just swallow it down. Okay, try and rest now, darling. You'll need all your strength when we go after the other 2 stones.
Other stones? What other stones? What have you gotten me into now, Josh Sтоббарта?
The patient is sounding more like her old self already. Nico recovered quickly from her fever. To save time, we decided to split up and look for each stone independently. I traced the pirate Ketch to a remote island in the Caribbean. With the fortune he'd amassed from piracy, he'd retired to a place that was later called Ketch's Landing. I didn't want a fishing net. I didn't know the first thing about sailing a dinghy.
Hi, is this Ketch's Landing?
Yeah, man. You want to buy some fish?
Nah, I don't like fish. What's your name?
Rio. It means river. What about you?
George. It means, well, it's just a name.
Is it true that Captain Ketch lived around here?
That's right. That's his house up on the hill. It's a museum now.
Yeah? That's exactly what I need. Thanks, kid.
You won't get inside, you know. The old ladies close it down.
What do you know about Captain Ketch?
Just what everybody knows around here. He was a pirate and get himself hung.
No school today?
No, sir.
What about your education?
I can fish, sail, and swim. I've been looking after myself since I was 6, and I'm bilingual.
Aren't you a little overqualified for a beach bum?
Well, you know, there's a lot of competition.
Who are these old ladies you mentioned?
Miss Frost and Miss Mina Ketch.
How come the old ladies closed the museum?
It's Branson's doing.
The guy with the theodolite?
Him have the plans for redeveloping the museum. They kind of regret it, you know. The man's a crook.
Do you know anything about pirate treasure?
Man, that's all stories. There's no such thing as a real pirate treasure. What you got there?
I didn't think the kid would be interested in that.
What you got there?
I didn't think the kid would be interested in that.
What you got there?
I didn't think the kid would be interested in that. My name's George Sтоббарта. You're a surveyor, right, Mr.
Bronson. And of course I'm a surveyor. Why the hell else would I have a theodolite?
I don't know. Hobby, maybe?
Yeah, right. What brings you here, anyway?
I'm searching for an ancient Mayan artifact.
What is it? Some kind of jewel?
No, it's obsidian. A black stone with supposedly mystic powers.
You're nuts.
What do you think of Rio?
Fish boy? If he comes near me again, I'll throttle the little squirt.
Calm down. What's he ever done to you?
Socked me in the back of my skull with some kind of fish, that's what.
Tell me about the two old ladies.
Who? The Ketch sisters. One of them's crazy as a coot, and the other will turn you to stone if you're not careful.
What are you doing with the theodolite?
Surveying the old house. I got great plans for this place.
Oh, yeah?
You bet. Take a look around. What do you see?
Paradise.
I see opportunity. This place is ripe for development.
I like it just the way it is.
And that's where we differ. You see, Mr. Sтоббарт, I'm what you might call a man of vision. I see a great future for Ketcha's Landing, and it all starts here, with that house.
This is similar to the stone I'm looking for.
What makes you think you'll find it here?
Because when the stones were stolen in the 17th century...
Hold it! The stones have been lost for 300 years?
Approximately.
And you're hoping to find them again? You're nuts. And why here?
A wise old Indian shaman told me he saw the stones in a vision.
Ha ha. That's rich. Listen, I got work to do, okay?
How do you survey a house like that?
I put a target reflector on the end of one of the flagpoles up there on the house. I sight on it from various locations through the theodolite, record the angles along the baseline, and triangulate them to give me the exact position of the target. Understand?
Why the end of the flagpole? Wouldn't it have been better on a corner of a wall or something?
Are you a surveyor?
No, my degree's in law.
Then shut up.
Can I take a look at your plans?
No way! What interest would they be to you, anyhow?
I've always had a secret desire to be a surveyor.
You have?
Sure. I mean, you surveyors are just like the great explorers, aren't you? Henry the Navigator, Vasco da Gama, Chris Columbus. Maybe you don't sail uncharted seas or discover new continents, but you're okay in my book.
Horse shit. You just stay away from those plans, you hear?
Catch you later, Bronson.
Hi, Puss. Wanna play? Hey, cat. Watch where you're putting those claws. Hi, my name's George Sтоббарт.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sтоббарт. Would you care for tea?
No, thank you, ma'am. I don't like tea. Is that your cat?
Yes, it is. That's Ruddles. Do you like cats, Mr. Sтоббарт?
You bet. Especially spit roast.
I've been talking to Rio, the little fisher boy.
I'll thank you not to mention that little wretch in my presence.
Dirty little whelk. Nasty fishy boy.
That will do, Mina.
I gather you don't have much time for the little boy.
That child is a delinquent, Mr. Sтоббарт.
Yeah, well, he's only, what, 11, maybe?
A knave with one hand on the tops.
What is it about Rio that you don't like, Miss Frost?
Well, once upon a time, he and Emily...
Be quiet this instant, Mina.
What can you tell me about Emily?
Emily? What business can she be of yours?
Her parents were killed in a typhoon.
We, as her only living relatives, took it upon ourselves to raise the child.
It's good to know Charity isn't dead.
Oh, but she is. Washed overboard in the typhoon.
Mr. Sтоббарт wasn't talking about Emily's mother. He was being sarcastic.
What else can you tell me about Emily?
How dare you pry into our family in this way? I refuse to answer any more of your impertinent questions.
Can you tell me anything about Captain Ketch?
More than you can tell me about your great-great-great-great-grandfather, no doubt.
You're his descendants?
Certainly. Captain Ketch was born in Dorset, England, in the reign of King Henry VIII. His family were undistinguished farmers, but young Frederick Ketch decided to go to sea.
We have plenty of seamen in our family, Mr. Sтоббарта.
Are you interested in history, Mr. Sтоббарta?
Yes, I am. You were telling me about Captain Ketch. Do go on.
Oh, yes. He sailed under Hawkins.
Jim Hawkins?
John Hawkins, one of the great traders of the Elizabethan age. In 1568, Frederick Ketch was a young man serving aboard the Jesus, Hawkins' flagship. They sailed from England to Africa and across the wide Atlantic to these islands. Ketch was never to see the shores of England again.
How come Ketch never made it home?
Because the Spaniards sank the Jesus in an act of treachery.
You said Hawkins' fleet traded between Africa and the Indies. What was it they were trading?
Black men with no shirts.
You have to understand, Mr. Sтоббарта, that this was the 16th century.
But that doesn't alter the fact that Hawkins and Ketch were slavers and pirates.
Would it surprise you to learn that Hawkins was also a devoutly religious man?
He transported slaves in a ship named after Jesus Christ. In my book, that makes him a hypocrite. What happened to Ketch? Was he killed?
Oh no. He got away and returned to this island, to this very house.
The Frederick Ketch Memorial Museum.
Is it true Frederick Ketch was a pirate?
Frederick Ketch was emphatically not a pirate.
They hanged him, you know, down there on the beach in front of his family. Didn't bother with a trial, just whipped him out from his breakfast table and hoisted him up in chains.
Well, if he wasn't a pirate, what did they hang him for?
Envy. Pure green-eyed envy. He had been a successful privateer, you see, and had accumulated great wealth.
As rich as a mink in a paddock.
Shut up, Mina.
Yes, Frost.
The small-minded governor and his lackeys wanted his money, trumped up some ridiculous charge about breaking the conditions of his letter of marque, and hanged him like a common thief. The blackguards!
Letter of marque?
The document that permitted him to engage and destroy the enemies of the crown. The difference between a lawful privateer and a pirate. Yoo-hoo! Sorry, Frost.
Well, why didn't Ketch just say, take a hike, guys, I've got a pirating license?
Frederick Ketch was not a pirate!
But he did show them his letter of marque.
But they destroyed it and hanged him anyway.
The ladder extended easily. It was locked.
The house is closed.
How come?
It is undergoing refurbishment.
Oh, of course. This must be the place Bronson's surveying.
The intention is to prepare the museum for the new century.
The Frederick Ketch Memorial Museum. It would look nice in neon.
A museum for a pirate? There was a stony silence.
As I have already told you, sir, he was not a pirate. It's precisely this sort of vile misrepresentation that Mr. Bronson is seeking to rebalance.
Oh? How?
Mr. Bronson has kindly agreed to undertake the museum's refurbishment at a very reasonable price. He understands the importance of a sense of history.
Funny. That's not the impression I got of Bronson at all.
He also understands spherical geometry.
Mina?
Well, he does.
Listen, ma'am, I came a long way to visit this place.
If we make an exception in your case, everyone will want to get in.
Pardon me, but I didn't exactly have to fight my way through the crowds.
You're the second visitor we've had today.
No, I'm sorry, but it's impossible.
The window was locked. I just had to sneak a look at those plans.
Hey, get out of there.
You know, wherever I go, I hear those words. Paris, Syria, Ireland, or Spain. Makes no difference.
What do you think you're doing?
I was trying to show some interest in your project. I think Bronson is trying to cheat those sweet, vulnerable old ladies.
That's a little unfair, isn't it?
Okay, he's trying to cheat those seriously demented, poisonous old ladies.
You have to admire his acumen.
Will you help me get those plans?
I don't want to go nowhere near that man. He promised to drown me when he found the fish I left in his sleeping bag.
Tell me about your friend Emily.
Why are you so interested in Emily Ketch?
Emily Ketch? A descendant of Captain Ketch, the pirate?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't bother you?
Why should it? We don't responsible for our ancestors.
How come the old ladies closed the museum?
It's Bronson's doing. He made the plans for redeveloping the museum. Oh, I know all about Mr. Bronson's plans. What you got there?
I didn't think the kid would be interested in that. You're really fond of that cat, aren't you?
He is our companion and our solace.
I thought about catnapping the little monster until they let me in, but it wasn't my style. Maybe there was some other way I could use their affection for the cat to get me into the house. Okay, it was time for diversionary tactics. I thought I saw a little girl down on the beach.
You must be mistaken.
He must be mistaken. Mustn't he, Frost?
I'm sure I'm not. A little girl and that young fisher boy.
What? It's not possible. What were they doing?
Oh, the kinds of things that all little boys and girls get up to at their age.
When I was a little girl, we used to play cows and milkmaids.
Woe betide you if you're lying to us, Mr. Sтоббарт. Heaven help you.
With a creak of ancient corsetry, the sisters sailed majestically over the distant horizon. I wasn't going to risk further laceration by the cat's claws. Did you see the sisters go by?
Yeah, they wanted to string that Fisher brat up. Of course, I told them where to find him.
A fink as well as a creep. Nice.
But he'd managed to vanish somehow.
Catch you later, Bronson. I had no more to talk to him about.
Did you see the weird sisters come by here?
Did I? They look madder than usual, so I hide until they're gone by.
Just as well. They thought you were playing with Emily. Boy, were they steamed.
Emily, you're madder than them.
Can you let me have a fish, kid?
I thought you said you don't like fish.
It's not for me. It's a present.
For the old ladies? Well, it makes a change from flowers and candy.
No, it's for their cat.
Okay. What do I get out of it?
I can pay you. I've got Quaramontian dollars, French francs, and traveler's checks.
You must be joking. The nearest bank is 3 islands away.
Will you give me a fish if I give you these, Rio, are these ugly, tasteless nylon panties worth a fish?
No, man.
Is this worm worth a fish?
Could be good bait. How did it die?
I think it drowned in tequila.
Just like my Uncle Gabriel. Yeah, I'll have that. Okay, I'll get you a fish. It might take a while, though.
There was nothing else I wanted to ask the boy. I had no more to talk to him about. I wasn't going anywhere in that boat without Rio to sail her. No luck with a fish?
No, man. They don't want bite. That's cause they know there's a storm brewing.
Storm? I don't think so.
Hey, I got a bite.
You have?
It's a big one. A real big one.
Reel him in, Rio. Jeez, it must be a whale or something.
Rustiest whale I ever see.
I still need a fish, Rio.
Okay, make me try again.
Maybe you better change your bait. The only serviceable part of the bicycle's wreck was a rubber inner tube. You just never know when you're going to need stuff like that.
There's a fish, my man.
I can't put it in my pocket while it's flapping about like that.
No problem.
The fish was wet and slimy and decidedly dead. It was the old inner tube from the bicycle which Rio had fished from the sea. 3 feet of slightly perished rubber. Bound to be useful for something. Okay, cat. You don't deserve this, but here's a little fish. The little monster ate the fish, but never strayed far from the ball. I wasn't going to risk further laceration by the cat's claws.
There's a fish, my man.
I couldn't think of any reason to climb the tree. I doubted I had Rio's grasp of piscine aerodynamics. There had to be a better projectile than a dead fish. I couldn't reach the flagpole, and a bush stopped me from moving the ladder across. I'd have to do that from the ground. That should get the old cat dancing. I just hoped it didn't give itself a cardiac. I didn't have the throwing strength to knock the marker off. I didn't want to risk the wrath of that vicious animal by putting my hand within striking distance of those claws. I put the ball in the catapult. Took aim. Yes! Okay, so it was a lucky shot, but I'd knocked the theodolite target clean off the end of the flagpole.
What the hell's going on here?
Hi, Bronson. Nice to see you, too.
You again. Have you been screwing around with my theodolite target? Where is it? I had to climb out of the window to put that one on. Damn it, I'm gonna have to go through all that again.
Not this time. The house is locked up and the sisters aren't here.
Hell's teeth! I'll have to put the spare target on the other flagpole. A whole morning's work wasted. I'm gonna fix all this and then I'm gonna fix you, you hear?
Yeah? Fine. I'll be waiting.
Ah!
What you doing, Bronson? Just hanging around?
I'm gonna kill you for this, Sтоббарт! Get me down from here!
What, so you can kill me? Gee, you talked me out of it, Bronson.
I felt a little guilty about leaving Bronson up there, but not much, obviously. The marker was a bright, shiny thing, and I have a weakness for bright, shiny things. It wasn't going to be much use without the theodolite, though. With Bronson out of the way, I could finally get a clear look at the plans. Engineers' drawings didn't mean much to me, but one thing was clear. These plans were for a 5-story, 200-roomed, luxury, pirate-themed hotel. Another stain on the bedspread of paradise. It was Bronson's plans for the hotel from hell. It was Bronson's theodolite.
You there! Why is Mr. Bronson hanging from that flagpole?
He climbed up there of his own accord.
Then help him, you stupid man! Quickly, before he falls!
Hi. Could I ask...
Never mind that. Help poor Mr. Bronson.
Here, Bronson's plans.
This means nothing to me.
She's not wearing her reading glasses.
Ah, wait. Yes, I see now. I see it all too clearly. That man is planning to build a huge hotel. Bronson is a confidence trickster. Mina, we have been duped. I'm glad we didn't sign his contract.
Oh, I hate tricksters, especially confident ones.
Come, Mina. Mr. Bronson, you may consider yourself persona non grata.
Yes. Cave Canum.
Kindly disentangle yourself from our flagpole and eject yourself from our property this very minute.
Disentangle. Eject.
Hey, cut that out, you crazy old bat!
How dare you! Mina isn't crazy, she's just engagingly eccentric.
Yeah, as a bedbug. Ouch!
Lovely as this little vista is, I'd be really grateful if you could let me into the museum now.
Certainly, young man. We are most grateful to you for exposing this scoundrel, Mina the Lock.
Thanks, ladies.
Sтоббart, be a pal. Get these harpies off me. Ooh!
While George was basking in the sun-drenched Caribbean, I went to the jungle. It was a long shot, but I thought I'd start my search for the jaguar stone at the British Museum. I didn't need to make a call. Bonjour. I wonder if you could help me.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
What's so funny? Oh, never mind. It was a stone identical in size and style to the coyote stone. However, this stone bore the image of a jaguar.
Excuse me, miss. Please don't touch the exhibits.
I doubted I could sneak this enormous stone out under my jacket.
Can I help you, miss?
Have you ever heard of an English sea captain called El Draco?
El Draco? Not a very English name.
I think that's what the Spanish would have called him. It was about the time of the conquistadors.
16th century. Oh, I know. That's what the Spanish called Sir Francis Drake.
Francis Drake? Have you got anything here that belonged to him?
Indeed, miss. We have a couple of artifacts he brought back from one of his journeys.
What can you tell me about that stone with a jaguar on it?
The so-called Jaguar stone was brought back from the Americas by Sir Francis Drake and presented, along with the more famous scrying mirror, to John Dee.
What's this scrying mirror?
It's a little square of polished obsidian. Mine it is.
And what does it do?
Well, it's a bit like a crystal ball, except flat and black. And you can't see anything in it. Old man D had a psychic who reckoned he could speak to the angels through it. I think he was taking D for a ride myself. The old loony didn't like the stone, though. Reckoned it was tainted by the devil. Come along, miss. I'll show you the mirror. There. John Dee's famous scrying mirror, given to him by Francis Drake.
Do you know if this mirror has any relevance to Tezcatlipoca?
Who? I can't even say it. Ah, there's someone here who'll be able to help you better than me. This young lady has some questions to ask, Professor. I think she's from France.
Professor Roubillier?
Yeah? What?
You two know each other, do you? Excuse me, the telephone.
We meet again.
Mademoiselle, France, eh?
Yes, I believe that's where you live, Professor.
I have a house there, on the outskirts of Paris, but I haven't been back for many months.
What can you tell me about the Jaguar stone, Professor?
It's obsidian, from the Chichen Itza region.
Professor Roubillier, your taxi's here.
If you'll excuse me, I have some urgent business to attend to at the docks.
Can you answer me some questions about the Jaguar stone?
Certainly, miss. If you just step this way. It's gone. Some sods half-inched it.
Half-inched?
Stolen it, miss. Never mind. The silent alarm will have been tripped. I'm afraid nobody can leave until our crack security team gets here.
How long will that take?
Could be a while. I think it's their tea break.
The thief could be miles away by then.
Don't you worry about that, miss. Just don't try to leave.
It was too much of a coincidence that Roubillier showed up and the stone promptly disappeared. I didn't have time for their crack security team to finish their tea. I had to get after him. The cabinet was locked. There was nothing very useful in my bag, just a single hair clip. That's the kind of thing Georges would do, not me. I wanted nothing to do with that statue. It made me nervous somehow. There was nothing I wanted to do with the statue except find out where he bought his hat. Très chic. The cabinet was locked. Perhaps I'm a Philistine, but old vases bore me. I had and have no interest in old pots. The key unlocked the case. I locked the case again and took the key.
Excuse me, miss. Please don't touch the exhibits.
I didn't want the mask, although it certainly reminded me of somebody. I didn't need to make a call.
I didn't steal the stone. I was nowhere near it.
So who do you suppose did steal it?
It must have been Oublié.
Oh, begging your pardon, but he's a man of letters. A professor.
So was Moriarty. Man of letters or not, he's your culprit.
Take a look at this.
What are you doing with that?
Just looking. What was it used for?
It's a sacrificial dagger, and I'd feel a lot happier if you put it down.
I didn't think the museum attendant would be interested in a hair grip. Not even a cute one like this. Look at this. The thief left this key in the cabinet.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
That makes the theft an inside job, right?
Oh dear.
In other words, the thief was Professor Oublié.
Well, let's leave that for the police to decide, shall we? I better phone them right away. Hello?
I knew I had nothing to worry about if the police were called.
Yes, I'll hold.
But I had to catch up with Oublié, and fast. The doors were securely locked. The dagger might leave or open the doors, but I wasn't going anywhere until I knew where Oublié had gone. The doors were securely locked. The dagger might leave or open the doors, but I wasn't going anywhere until I knew where Oublié had gone. The doors were securely locked.
You'll have to be quick, miss. I'm on the phone.
Don't you think it's suspicious that Oublié has urgent business at the docks?
Not in the slightest, young lady. He's gone to oversee the unloading of cargo, an exhibition of Mayan sculpture on loan from Mexico City.
What's the name of the ship?
The Xibalba Princess.
I levered the handle open with the thin dagger.
The room had been decorated to resemble the interior of a sailing ship. It was disturbingly effective. That might come in useful in ticklish situations. Okay, I've had my hands on an historical document. Now what? chart fitted exactly into the recess on the top of the desk.
Hard a port, bosun. Aye, aye, Captain Sтоббарт. She cannot take it, Captain. My lad's dead. Abandon ship.
Two bells and all's well. Pirates were cool. It would have been easy to reach the cutlass and slip it in my pocket. It would also have been the most regrettable action of my life. Captain Frederick Ketch, 1570. Around his neck was a cross. Maybe he was a part-time pirate. The portrait might have made a nice souvenir, but it was too large to carry.
Surprise!
What the? Who are you?
I'm Emily.
What were you doing in there, Emily?
Hiding. What are you doing here?
Grown-up stuff.
Grown-ups? I'm never going to grow up, I'm not. You shouldn't be here. What's your name?
I'm George.
Pleased to meet you, Jaws.
George.
Jaws?
Jeez.
Make your mind up.
What can you tell me about Captain Ketch?
That's him on the wall, in the picture.
Yeah, I know. Scary-looking guy, huh?
He was my great-great-great-great-grandfather.
Yeah, you have his eyes. Why don't you go play with Rio?
I'm not allowed.
How come?
Because Aunt Frost says I'm not allowed out of the house. That's why, Mr. Nosy Beak.
Too bad. Why don't you ask your other aunt if you can play with Rio?
Aunt Mina's cuckoo. Aunt Frost says so. She says when the Lord handed out common sense, Aunt Mina was off getting double portions of chin.
That Rio's a smart kid. He helped me outwit Bronson.
Rio is clever. He can spit ever so far.
I bet you can't keep this piece of coal in your mouth for the next half hour.
Could too. I could keep it in my mouth for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah? Go on then. Prove it.
Don't want to. And if you try to make me, I'll tell Aunt Mina.
Look, an ancient Mayan stone.
Is that a magic stone?
Well, I don't know about that.
No.
That cross you're wearing, Emily?
It's my lucky Jesus cross.
It's just like the one Captain Ketch wore.
Uh-huh.
Can I borrow it?
Uh-uh.
What would you trade for that cross, Emily?
A puppy.
Well, I don't happen to have a puppy in my pocket right now. Can you think of anything else you'd trade?
Don't know.
Would you like to play darts?
No.
Oh, come on. I'll throw, you catch.
That's dangerous. Darts will stick in me and make me bleed.
Do you know how to use a theodolite?
We don't learn anything about surveying at my school. Not until 5th grade.
Holding that lantern, I felt kinda biblical. Like Jesus or Florence Nightingale. The lantern fitted so precisely in the inkwell, it could only be deliberate.
What you doing, Jaws?
I've put the lantern in the inkwell. See? It fits.
Why?
Because it was cut to fit.
Why?
Because sneaky old Captain Ketch made it that way.
Why?
What is with all the questions?
'Cause I'm interested.
Why?
'Cause I have the insatiable curiosity of the young.
Why?
All right. Truce.
March 20th, 1676. Engaged frigate off Fan Salvador? It was garbage. Huh. I guess being a pirate didn't require too many academic qualifications. The passage went on to describe how Ketch had got wind of the approach of a fleet of English ships. It seemed the new governor had not shared his predecessor's views on Ketch's activities. They were out for his blood. Sailed to that place where I made secure my fortune. I returned safe in the knowledge that the governor shall not discover that which I had hidden. For is it not writ that 'tis easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle? The ship looked too fragile to touch.
What you doing now, Jaws?
Knock it off, will ya? There's something you ought to know. I don't buy cute or lost puppy. I've put the feather back. Are you happy now?
Don't you want to steal it anymore?
For the last time, I didn't steal it.
That's your word against mine, and I'm the one with the dimples.
That looked like that's where it was supposed to be, so I left it there. What do you give to a small, irritating girl who asks about everything?
Try a conch. Delicate colors, interesting shape, and when you put it to your ear, you can hear the sea.
Yeah? Why's that?
Usually because you're standing next to it.
Cool. Have you got one?
Yeah, but I promised it to my sister. She's well vexed with me.
Why is your sister mad with you?
Well, last night, when I got home with our supper, she went wild. Rio, she said, how come all you ever catch is puffer fish? A sicker puffer fish. What I want is tiger fish. So don't bother come back home till you catch one, boy. I don't see how I'm gonna catch no tiger fish. All I have is a fishing pole and a worm.
What do you need to catch a tiger fish?
One of them real fancy flies like the rich fishermen use.
Cat made short work of the feather, tearing it into a blizzard of small pieces. Hey, this is just what you need to make a fly.
Thanks. Let's hope them tiger fish hungry. A deal's a deal. Here's a conch.
It was the conch shell that Rio had given me. Why don't you run along and play?
Aunt Mina told me. Stay out of mischief.
Well, that doesn't mean you have to stay indoors, does it? On a beautiful day like today?
There's a storm coming.
Oh, nuts. You don't know that.
I do so. I can see the whole world from the window.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm busy. Here, I've got a conch. Would you like it?
Dunno. Aunt Frost told me never to take presents from strange men.
I'm not a strange man.
Then why are you called Jaws, Jaws? That's a stupid name.
I'm not called... Look, conch, pretty. Swap for the cross, yes or no? Right, this thing's going out the window.
Okay, we'll do swapsies.
It was the portrait of Captain Ketch. The portrait might have made a nice souvenir, but it was too large to carry. Ketch's crucifix was encrusted with precious gems. There were several things I wanted to say to that awful kid, but I held my tongue. Ketch's cross slipped snugly into the penholder.
What you doing now?
Grown-up stuff.
I doubt that.
I've put your cross in this little hole in the desk.
Why?
Impulse, mainly, with a dash of irrational intuition.
Silly. Only women have intuition.
The lantern cast a strong light over the desktop. The light cast a shadow of the cross. And the shadow fell precisely over a small, unnamed island shaped like a skull. That must be it. Ketch's Treasure Island.
Uh-oh. That's Zombie Island. It's a bad place.
No kidding? Well, bad place or not, that's my next port of call.
Can I come too?
The hell you can.
I never get to leave the house.
I wasn't going to take the cross out of the holder. Somehow I just knew that was where it was supposed to be. Would you take me to, Zombie Island?
In this weather? You're mad, man.
The rain will keep the zombies indoors. Just say I did meet a zombie. What would you do?
There ain't no zombies on Zombie Island. At least, not anymore. It's uninhabited.
Good. What do you mean, not anymore?
You still want to go?
I guess.
Well, I ain't had no luck with them tiger fish. And with the mood my sister is in, I'll be safer with the zombies.
So, this was Zombie Island. Somehow I'd been expecting something more sinister. Come on, Rio. Let's find that treasure.
No, thanks. I'm staying right here.
Oh, come on. You said yourself there's no zombies left.
Yeah, but that was while there was a big pile of seawater between me and this place. All me have now is this little bit between the boat and the shore, and I'm hanging onto it.